EXC, thank you for the 50. Madison, can you read this one?
Question for the ladies on the panel. How many of you just accepted that being a model and doing content creation is going to the highlight of your life and your only contribution to society?
Your response.
I would have to say that my content creation that I'm doing is for something later on in life. Like, I am really big on investing in like properties and doing other things, so that way I can get out of that, you know, traditional OF, because I obviously don't want to be doing this my whole entire life. And so I don't think that that's like the be all end all. I've had 8 to 5 jobs my whole entire career. I can tell you right now, they are not fun, and I like making my own money and being my own boss. So I don't think that whatever they said.
You said you thought in the future about your real estate career. Have you thought about your kids, about them going through school? Do you think kids are going to make fun of them throughout school? How do you
No, because I was always raised to be very open-minded, and I want my kids to be raised the same way. And you know, if people bully them, my husband's 6'3" and huge.
Kids are gonna find that on the internet's huge.
I don't think it's whether or not your kid gets like bullied or not or feels embarrassed. I think seeing your mother in a compromising position, adding to the way that they view women is probably a worse. Do you think that you'd want your daughter to do OnlyFans?
I don't know. I haven't really. To be completely honest with you, I never thought I was going to be that person to do it. And I also am very open-minded about it. I wasn't at first. I used to be that girl that was like, I hate like anyone that does OnlyFans. I think it's stupid. Like, why are you doing this? And now I've like really broadened the horizon.
The money makes it sweeter.
It does. But I also think like when I do have kids, I am not going to be probably doing
when are you gonna get out? What's like the end game? So you said you're not in this for long term. Like, when do you know? Like, is it when you made enough, or?
I think for me, it's the other investments that I have, and when those are like fully on board, like a side job, then like then I'm done with it.
Do you have your real estate license?
No, but my husband does, and yeah.
Nice.
This may be a personal question, but were you affluent before OnlyFans?
No.
So were you struggling a little bit?
Oh, like money-wise? No, I was not. I was doing well. I was doing well, and I'm really good about saving my money. Mm-hmm. But I've always been that type of person that would have like 3 different jobs and just trying to hustle as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me was like OnlyFans. I was like, oh, I'll do this on the side. Like, it'll just be extra money. A lot of girls in Scottsdale do it. Like, it's kind of the norm out here in the West. And agreed. You know, I come from like the middle of nowhere where that's not a thing. And so I just think since it's so normal, I just based it as like, oh, it's just a side hustle. Yeah. And then it kind of turned in from a side hustle to like, okay, wow, I'm making a lot of money. And
yeah. Also, to add into like your question about kids for the future, I think what she said about the West, it has become like a lot more modernized. So I think it also might depend on like where you're going to raise your kid. Mm-hmm. If you raise your kid in LA, like there are so many sex workers here that I don't think that, you know, specifically one of ours necessarily is going to be the talk of the town when there's like so many plus years now going on between now and then.
God, so I think hope sex work doesn't become normalized.
It has become a lot.
I think we think that because we are living in the West, but it's not. It's not normal, and it shouldn't be normal.
I think it is normal.
I think it's pretty normal.
I think the media kind of
the media definitely.
Normal.
I think
that
it's
especially
yeah.
I think if you talk to a lot of guys out there that are kind of normal and sane, they aren't paying for pornography. They aren't watching pornography. I think that's what a lot of young men are finding, like in this day and age, are turning toward pornography to this day and age, and they're having trouble going out there and talking to girls in real life because the media, it's so easy to pull up porn or whatever you want to see is right in front of you. So why go talk to a girl?
Yeah, but
so it's destroying a lot of young kids, and like it's sad.
Yeah. I just think it depends on like she was saying, like what you in referring to like porn is normalized, like or sex work. Like, what's your definition of sex work? Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think you're thinking like OnlyFans and stuff. Like,
well, the definition of sex work is selling yourself, basically. To me,
it's selling a sexual product. So it's if anyone gets like aroused off of the product, like I said, like a Victoria's Secret magazine could be sex work. Like it could be.
Sure,
It
you're not having
definitionally.
sex, but it's sex work. You're not doing the
I
dirty,
disagree,
but
but-
you're technically putting yourself out there, selling your
I think
body.
it's more art
I
than it is
disagree,
sex
but-
work.
I
It's like a way of.
I think literally seeing a dick go in a vagina
Well,
is
you have to-
sex
you have
work,
to-
and
you have-
literally using a vibrator, and that's sex.
You have to think about
But,
why
like,
there's a
taking
market.
Posting your
You have to think
nudes
about why there's a
online is
market for
not
what you do.
No.
so-
sex work.
No, it's
no, it's art.
photography.
Yeah, it's photography.
people
like,
It's
it's
don't
not like
wa-
I'm just sitting here like.
But why do you think people are watching? But why do you think people are watching it?
It's only one reason.
If you
That's
have
not none
if
of
you have a
my-
most
I mean,
if
that's
you have a
kind of
mostly
their
male
problem if
fan
they're
base,
if they're paying for it. That's on them. Like,
You're
it's
feeding
okay, but
into
it
them as well.
the material reality of it being porn does not change.
So let me ask you a question. So if you're so against it, I just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you delete your OnlyFans if you?
I've already spoken about this. I was big
Okay.
enough to where my pornography is going to be out there.
you can get it
ages-
taken down very easily.
You can't.
Yes, you can. 100% you can.
You
It's
can't.
always gonna be
Yes, you
there.
can.
I was just curious why.
You
Reddit,
can't. I
I was
Twitter.
just curious.
I know.
You
Okay,
can
listen.
pay, trust
you
me.
guys have been doing this for 6 months to.
I also have lawyers that literally tell like you just pay for it and it gets taken.
I
down.
was just curious if like you're super, which I think it's really cool actually, that you're super like not into sex work, and because it sounds like you've like really kind of dipped your toe in the sex work water in different areas, and so
Mm-hmm.
I completely get where you're coming from, and I think it's actually great because I know a lot of people who do the escorting and stuff like that, and I think it's really toxic and actually really scary. And but
All
I'm
of it
just
is.
out of curiosity, because it sounds like you're super passionate about it. So I was just curious, if you have so much passion for it, I would just assume that you would want to just completely take off your OnlyFans to not earn money from that, to show like you really are super against it, you know?
Yeah, I do want to do that. I also think that, like I said, I'm coming from a background of, criminality. I have basically ruined my job opportunities from being a public sex worker online. There are very minimal ways to make money. I haven't posted for months, and my sex work is going to be that out there. I've been doing sex work for so long that it will just keep getting reposted. It'll keep getting reposted, and I want to move on. I don't want to have to talk to a lawyer every week and say, hey, there's a new picture of me when I was 18 being circulated. Can you take it down? It's on Reddit. Every fucking week. I want to be able to move on with my life, and hey, if you want to look and you want to pay me, it's there. I'm not going to post on it, but there's an archive, and at least it'll be sent to that. I don't, and maybe once I am in the process of getting an actual job working with women at crisis centers, but until then, and after then, hopefully all that money will go towards sex worker outreach programs to help those women. But until then, I'm sort of in a rock and a hard place. I think that a lot of women don't realize what comes after sex work, and it's not great. You don't get hired anywhere. You don't get. Everyone has seen you naked. Imagine walking into a room. I've been doing this for 6 years. Imagine walking into a room with 100 people. They've all seen you naked.
I mean, we all have boobs. We all have the same thing.
Sure, but there's a very specific way in which men treat women who they've seen as sexual objects, and it's not kindly. So I have very limited options. Right now, I would love to have never made any money from the sex industry. That's part of my whole platform online, is that I don't believe that I don't believe that sex work is work. It's not work, and it shouldn't be work. But unfortunately, it's just the cards I was dealt, and I'm trying to get myself out of it. So
Live and you learn.
you live and you learn. I was younger than you. Can you imagine going into it right now?
I got a
I would
really
never-
serious question for everybody here.